use you. By definition, this is an exploitative society. If I choose not to do that, then I have to choose a different way of living. I choose not to do that because I need to look at myself at night. And therefore, the worst thing that can happen to me is I'm going to die. I'm going to die at one point or another. They're either going to do me in or somebody else is, so I might as well do my work. That's what I'm thinking. So all that means then is that you, as a young brother, can find the truth. And the truth is we need to look out for each other and do it in your own sphere. If every one of us, we got maybe 20 brothers here, if every one of us chose 5 young men to work with, we now have a group of young men over the course of 3 to 4 years that can be a viable force. And if those 5 men that we work with, and we also tell them part of your charges, once I give you the information, that means I have to think through what I'm talking about, and it doesn't have to be all inclusive. There's some things that I have my own agenda, I'll be honest about that. But whatever my agenda is, if I can get people to buy into it, indicate it's not about making Mike Connor more popular, wealthy, whatever. It's about giving you some things that I see, some of the truths that I've seen, and try to, let's see if we can do that.
That's the thing, that's the problem we're having right now. Everybody's competition. Everybody wants to be competing. We want to have a 5 group here, we want to have a 5 group here, but not expanding it and putting it on one accord. That's the problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I used to be invited to work with the Long Beach Ministerial Alliance, and they don't invite me anymore because that's what I saw as their major problem. And when I grew up, the church was a viable force in the community. I still need that. What I saw was they really did not get along. And the younger pastors who wanted to be more activists, we got rid of it. We got to do it ourselves. We got to do it ourselves. We have to come up with our own movement, which means we got to take care of each other. Yes, sir.
I just want to comment on the fear thing. The fear is part of the design. Yes. And the fear comes from isolation and separation. Yes. So if you participate in the isolation and the separation, then you manifest the fear. The way you can break it down is to coalesce and to come together so that you then enhance the brother next to you around, well, let's look at this. Is this really what's happening? Is this really how you should approach and how you should feel about it? And that's the networking that has to be there. Now, in that networking, you also can formulate strategy and ways to address the issues. But the isolation is what contributes to the fear. Now, part of the design also is that in isolation, it encourages the competition. Yes. Throw crumbs at the brothers, and they will fight over the crumbs. And we fight over the crumbs because we're isolated and we're not seeing the bigger picture together. Okay. And so that's why what he's saying is the appropriate strategy. Now, it's easier to say than to do, because we bought into the isolation and the competition and being outside of our own strategy, of our own empowerment and our own future design. And that's what he's talking about, changing.
I appreciate that. That's exactly what I really do believe that. I think that each one of us has to find out and be willing to work. I really am convinced if we have 5 men in our community to do some work, we can do some work. I don't think you need 100. I don't think we need 2,000. Let me throw one of the ideas that I had, and it got dropped, but I went to the Ministerial Alliance and indicated one of the things we need to do is to take aspects of our community back, and I don't see why we can't do that here. I said, with the church people, will you give me the name of an elderly couple that owns their house? I want an absentee landlord. I will commit to 5 people to come, single-story houses, to paint the houses and clean up. And essentially what I'm committed to is I wonder what will happen if we take a street and we clean up every house on the street, paint it, repair windows, do some caulking. And it's got to be the older folks. And for me, older folks at that point is 50 and above. Okay. But folks who are not able to do it themselves, single women living alone or whatever. And then I wanted my students to come over on a weekly basis and clean up. So folks throw trash on the ground, let's pick it up. I'm mad at nobody, I'll pick it up. That's it. See, that's my exercise. I'll go pick up the trash. What happens over a period of 3 to 4 to 5 months if we do that? Does that have any impact on anybody else up and down the street? And what we find is, yes, it does. That becomes powerful. And then other people start messing. Now, where we live right now in Oakland, I get up in the morning, and twice a week, I go pick up trash on the street, right? And it used to be people would come out and look at me and like, what this all fool doing, right? I had a couple of go, what you doing out there? Picking up trash. Oh, okay. I come back in, what you doing out there? Still picking up trash. And I said, but that's my yard. Yes, ma'am, that's your yard. And I'd move on, right? What I'm finding now is people are out there picking up trash. And I had to do it now for about 4 months. I had my bag, I'd be out there in rain, I'm out there picking up trash. It's out there, it's my street, I would pick up the trash. Not just in front of my house, but up and down the street. And I was just curious, and I'm seeing folks now picking up trash.
My name is Ronald Russell. And I drive the Eastern Transit in the East Bay. And where I see a lot of our young adults, young black, upcoming children. And I see some of the problems. And I talk to them, like, say when I pull a bus up and there's women standing at the bus stop and the kids are standing there. They want to rush up before the kids, and I mean they want to rush up before the adults, and I have to stop them. I say, oh, you know what I'm saying? I have to put my hand out and say, stop, hold on. Let that lady come up first, or help her with her bags or something. You know what? I've noticed that there's so much damage that has been done that it's kind of hard to, you start with a few, and then all of a sudden we leave out of here and then we take it to another level, we forget about what we were doing.
Yes.
But I don't know what we're gonna do, gentlemen. I don't know what's gonna happen because, it's like this here. We, just like he was talking about the marijuana, if it's not legal, I mean, if they can't tax you for growing, because anybody can grow marijuana.
Absolutely.
I can't smoke it. I can't use it because I could be drug tested at any given time. That's my bread and butter right now, but that's not my only venue. But what I see is that if they can't tax you for it, it's illegal. Now, alcohol is legal, and it tears more people up than anything.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And the most I've ever seen people on marijuana, which I'm not saying it's the best thing to use, but I know it helps people. What I see is that, people destroy their homes and everything behind alcohol and marijuana. They might go get a sandwich or get creative.
Enjoy some music, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are we gonna?
You bringing out this point. I work with Waco.
The domino effect.
Our next speaker is here. I'm sorry, I went over my time.
Let me just say this. I don't want to cut you short, but I invited a brother that he's in the middle of a training real quick, so I just want him to come in and just share a few words on what he do. He got to run real quick. Leon, you want to just come in real quick?
Sorry, Jim.
I'm really sorry to break into the conversation you guys have going, but I do have to go. I'm doing a tutor training right now, so I got a couple of balls going in the air. My name is Leon Ville, and I represent Project Read through the San Francisco Public Library. Many of you may have seen me going through the neighborhood in that van that has Read Better on it. Just to let you know a little bit about myself, I was born in San Francisco, I was raised in Richmond. I was a non-reader all my life. Everything that you guys talked about, drug addiction, alcohol, a father out there, that was me. I found myself at the age 44 not being able to read or write at all. Having worked construction most of my life, got hurt, developed a drinking problem. I was not in a good position in life. I did what they call the geographic. I came here to San Francisco to rebuild my life. I went through the recovery system, but also I had planned to go back to school. And I wanted to study, do something better for myself. I was tested at reading at a 3rd grade level, which means I was reading about the same as that little child did. And I had a goal of going to City College. Doesn't seem to work that way, but I took the courage, went down to the library, signed up with Project Read, got a tutor, and began working towards learning how to read and write. It's very important in our society. It took me 3.5 years, but I was able to go to City College while I was working with my tutor, graduate for the first time with a degree in graphics. 3 years ago, I went back to school. My plan is to become a teacher. I now have a bachelor's degree in education. That introduction to the real success that Project Read has brought to our community. We have a young man that's 28 years old. I've been working with him, mentoring him since he came to the program. He came in at a very low level. He was a crack baby. He had all kinds of problems, but he listened to me. It took him a couple of years, but he was able to get through City College. He has an AA degree. He stuck with me. I worked with him, and at the end, this is the knock. He was able to get a bachelor's degree. Last year, the young man completed and has a master's degree And you know what's so cool about it? He didn't have to pay not one penny. You do not owe 1 penny of student loan. So it's money out there. You guys are the leaders. I am the leader. I was a problem. Today I'm the solution. Okay? I'm still a drug dealer, but my product is education now. You got me? I sell tutors. You know what I'm saying? I don't sell it, but I provide them free. I'm still that black man. I just took the game that I learned in the street and took it to the main street and work it right. Simple as that. I'm still that person. I come from Richmond, where every youngster on the street carry a gun. You know, it's almost like I got to get permission to go home. You understand me? When I cross that bridge. But my goal is today, I'm plucking black men, young black men out of the community. I'm getting them with tutors, and I'm giving them the means to be something in society. We need to have more black men sitting on the school board. We need to have more black men involved in politics. We are losing. We're losing. We're losing to the west side, to the east side, to all these different sides. You guys are the leaders. If there's any chance that you believe in yourself and that you want to be a part of it, come to Project Read. It's not just about learning, it's about skill building. If you can't write a report, I'll match you with a tutor that can help you write a report. If you want to go back to school, come there. We'll match you with a tutor to help you prepare to get the skills to go back to school. We can do it. We can really do it. I'm here as an example today. No more, no less. A black man that you guys have been sitting here talking about, that's me. But I rose above it. And you guys can do the same. You guys follow me? Yes. This is about you guys. I've been given a gift. Just think about it. I've still got the same mentality, but now I work with tutors. I work with tutors that can come in here and work with you and help you to achieve any goal that's at your heart. Think about it. A black man with a 3rd grade education walking around with a bachelor's degree today? Think about me. I'm still rich, but I have a new weapon. I can use my mind. You know, when people don't want to respect me, I don't care, because I got more respect for myself than anyone else can ever have for me. You understand? I can step up to the plate. There's nothing I cannot do. If I want to be a doctor, I know it's going to take me time, and I will find a way to do it. But this is what it's all about today. We need to really start seriously taking education serious in our community, and it starts with us. I'm at a tutor training, and it's 14 people, and there's only one black man in it. One black man. And most of the people that I get into the program are people of color. But only one black man showed up today to get trained, to come in the community and help somebody to better themselves. We need to step up. We need to step up. I think I do a good job, but just think of the job I could do if I had all of y'all helping me. You know what I'm saying? If I had y'all working with me, so each time we get a young black man in there who's trying to change his life, who say, hey, I'm tired of dealing, I don't want to wind up in jail. We know the game. Everybody in here know what the game is. Everybody in here has lived long enough to understand what our problems are and what that young man is thinking. What we'll do is help you gain the tools so you can sit down with that young man and teach him life skills and also teach him how to learn. You follow me? We need doctors, we need lawyers, we need all of these. And it doesn't start across town, it starts right here. You know, you don't have to know a bunch of medical terminology. You just have to sit there with them and help them work it through. These are people that got brains. These are people who, as we used to talk about it, a drug dealer is a salesman, a drug dealer is an accountant, a drug dealer is, you know, all these things. All you're doing is changing their product. You follow me? That's all you're doing is changing their product. Let somebody change mine. You know, and I'll leave you guys with this, and I swear I'm sorry I have to run because I am in the middle of tutor training. There is a master's degree waiting for me. I didn't say I'm gonna want a master's degree. There's one sitting there waiting for me. I just need to go get it. There's a young man or a man out there waiting for you. You just need to go step up and go get him and turn him around. All right? I'll leave some contact information over here. Call me. I'll leave some business cards right here. All right. But man, I want y'all to just leave this. Think about this. reading at a 3rd grade level. I used to tease people and tell them, because drinking wine was my thing. I was an unofficial, unpaid taste tester for Ernie's and Judo College. But today, I'm junior manager with the city. You follow me? I'm junior manager.
All right.
You guys follow me?
All right.
We can do more of that in our community. And just like I learned my stuff in the street, and many of you have too, turn it around and it becomes the same product that these men that he deal with every day in society, they know different. They stuff was just learned on a different street. And we are even tougher. Just think how I'm tough I am. I got street, plus I got education, and I got game.
That's all right.
And everybody be like that. I'm serious. I'm serious. Most people would be embarrassed to say, I can't read or write. But to me, it's my badge to tell other people, you can do it.
Right. Amen.
You can do it. So, hey man, if any of y'all have any questions, pick up that, call me, I will respond. But let's step up to the plate. We need to educate our community, and y'all are the tutors. Y'all are the leaders. One of you need to be sitting at the school board advocating for all of us. You hear me? So let's do it, fellas.
Thank you.
I just want to make this a photo op where we can actually take this picture and, you know, some of our bus shelters and things and show how powerful we are together. So if we can just do a class picture real quick before the brother run out, and then I'll tell you about how we're going to move to the next steps. We'll get you brothers up here, everybody else to the side, please.
Before I run, Puppy Baskets put some cards. I didn't bring any, so I'll make sure I give some to the pastor. I thought I did, but I didn't bring any cards. And I still my pen back here so I can give it to him.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
Will, you gonna come on over, man, and get a picture?
Professor, there you go. All right, I'll just do it again, yeah.
All right. The first row can sit, and then the folks in the very last row can stand. Make sure you fill that back row. So I'm going to try and take it in between these two pillars here. So if we can kind of scoot in and get us all in there. That's as big as the frame is going to be.
We need to get on the floor, so we'll need to add another row on the floor, or?
If we can't squeeze in any more.
I squeezed enough.
That's it. So, Eris, is there room right in the back where you stand up there, like that? Yeah, that'll. Okay.
If we all stood and stood at an angle.
Move down, and then folks who are on this edge right here, if you can go up in that back row and stand too, then I can get everybody. So, brother in the black shirt, you can just keep moving down a little bit. And then Eris, if you're like right in front of me. And then if Majid, you're next to a brother in the black shirt. And then you can just move over to a little bit, right next to the guy in a checkered shirt. There we go. Oh, handsome. All right. I'm gonna take a few just in case I mess up. Good. I'm gonna stand up. Everyone looking at how's it look? That's looking good. I took a few of the flash off. A few more. Good. Thank you. No. Brother.
I just need one. Make sure it's already on, flash already on there. It's disposable. It's cheap.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Have a good day, bud.
Man, so one of the things that I want to do is, I know I called a lot of people, I know a lot of people want to, have a chance to speak. So the thing I want to do is, like I said, I know I got a lot of, we were supposed to do a lot of workshops, but there's no question why we all are here. We all, like I said, are providers. We all are doing some things. So like the brother said, that I understand. I've been at breakfast tables, I've been in meetings, and it trickles down to who's willing to really do the work after this. We meet 2 or 3 times, and then that's it. I've been a part of it. I come from the same place the brother just got up here and spoke. I'm a high school dropout. I still ain't got no GED, but I'm still marching up and down the street telling brothers they can change their life. I can't go to city college. I've been back and forth, but you know what I'm saying? God got me on a mission right now. My mission is the streets in which I grew up and done some damage. So I know how to maneuver. There's no question that I got everybody's contact from doctors to lawyers, service providers, brothers in the streets. So I'm connected all the way around. I just need some help. I need to be able to pick up the phone and say, man, like I said, I need help putting this budget together. This brother needs some life insurance. It's some of the things that we need to get together as men and put it out there. So I do got 2 agencies that came out that want to present what they do, and this is another resource for us all. So I'm going to allow them to get the floor real quick, and then we can move into our next stage. We got the Conservation Corps, and then we have Job Corps. So I'm going to let Job Corps come up right now.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me to this special event here. My name is Rosalina Roses. I'm a male recruiter for Job Corps. We help out the youth 16 to 24 years of age. I'm sorry, this right here.
I'm David Escobosa. I'm also an outreach and admissions counselor at Treasure Island Job Corps.
Our purpose of Job Corps, have you guys heard of Job Corps? Yeah. Okay, well, it's been around since 1964. It's 16 to 24 years of age at-risk youth. There, what we help them do is get their academics, high school diploma, GED, and we also help them get employability skills and social skills, skills that all the young and adult need. And the program is free. Okay?
Yeah, sure. We offer trades in 4 different areas. We have service trades, we have construction trades, and we have culinary and business. The construction trades are good because they're taught by union reps, and when they're done with the actual training and Job Corps, they bypass waivers for union. They're automatically in, which is a plus. If people know about unions, how long you can be on that.
Yeah, part of that, I finished with you guys.
There you go. That's cool. Yeah, great. Yeah, so again, it's 16 to 24-year-old at-risk youth. If you have any documented learning or physical disability, the age requirement can be lifted for people that are older. And we house 700 people on Treasure Island, 100 don't live on center. So there's 800 students and 1,200 staff. And again, it's free. It's a Department of Labor program, and it's an alternative for at-risk low-income youth. If your kids and all your meals are paid, everything's paid. And you just basically show up and you get all your training for free. And the DO puts out a grant. And if you quit or get kicked out, you don't owe anything. You owe nothing, which is a plus. So it's not like a student loan. And we also have a college program for those when they graduate. If they're doing exceptionally well, we can pay for 1 year of school. So they get their first year of college paid for, all their books, all their classes, and their transportation and lunch. Basically, they just live there for free and go to school. This is an easy sale to adults. It's harder youth. So you guys know youth, they could use something like this. Because at 16 to 24, they don't really know how hard it is. But as most people should know, that it's a good program and it's free. And again, you don't owe anything if you quit. And the residential component's crucial too. So even if you know people that are on the verge of being homeless or they are homeless, it's an alternative for them too.
So to us.
So you provide for housing?
Yeah, housing, all your meals.
We also provide like recreation trips, because the majority of our students there sometimes don't have places to go. We have activities that are conducted like during after school hours, weekend hours, like field trips. They go to Marine World, Great America, or they do movie trips there. And everything is paid for and it's free.
And just to piggyback on what she said, so for some people, job corps is their home. So we're open all holidays, 365 days a year. You don't have to leave. But of course, they can leave every day and come back by curfew and leave on the weekends and not required to be there.
When you talk about your success rate, I know that understanding sometimes you say it's not, it's hard getting through to the youth.
Oh, yeah.
To get them to understand what the meaning, what the outcome is, and what it means, to finish this program.
The success rate, I don't know the statistics, but I'll give you a scenario. The first 45 days is the most crucial because, as people probably know, youth don't like to wear uniforms and it's a requirement. They have to wear a uniform with their shirt tucked in. Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. After 4, they dress how they want, on the weekends, but during the training day, no grills, no earrings, no stuff like that. They can put in after class. Okay, just like a normal job. So the first 45 days is the hardest part because it's an adjustment period. We lose probably about 35 to 40% of the applicants that sign up during that time. But after that, we only lose about 15%. So if they make the first 45 days, they buy into what we're telling them. You have to wear a uniform correctly. You have to be on time. You can't be late. There's no gray area. If you're late, you're late. There's no the bus broke down. There's none of that kind of stuff. We're teaching them accountability because at a real job, you're late during the first.
Being responsible.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, and also, it's zero tolerance for drug and alcohol. Their drug test is on the second day of the program. We tell them the date of their drug test. We help them get clean before the drug test if that's what they need to do because we don't want them to come in positive. Because on your second positive drug test, you're out. If you come in positive on your first drug test, you'll take a second drug test your 38th day because that gives you enough time to clean out your system. But again, we try to help them the best that we can to come in clean because they won't get drug tested again.
So could it be right to say pretty much the ones that are on the success rate as far as successful in the program, they're not really at risk because when they come in, they have a understanding that they are coming in to learn and to keep the program and the whole fulfillment out of it. Like I said, I'm part of it. I don't think he was really at risk, quote unquote, but he did get through there and finished up and everything. He's from over here in the area, Dandy. Dandy, affiliated with Big Rich and a lot of big guys like that. I think his last name off the top right now is Smith. But anyhow, he finished up and he's now doing some, I guess, not finishing, but he's doing like construction work. How he goes out just to Dublin and things like that. But the whole reason why I brought this point up is that, necessarily we say at-risk youth when, not all understanding is not really at-risk youth. It's people that really are looking to better themselves and not just be at risk on the outside.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The term at risk, I would just say, at risk of not being employed. You know what I mean? Just like not like a certain lifestyle. It just means like just like they're not employed at the time because it's a low income program. So if you're 18 or older and you're not working, you're eligible. If you're under 18, it goes off the household income. So so we work on federal guidelines on that. So yeah, not really at risk meaning like you're doing bad things because you can't. We have a lot of strict guidelines to let people in. It's a case by case basis. But yeah, basically that was at risk of not being employed because it's hard out there with those skills. And when you're done with the program, you are working because that's what we're doing. So we'll help you guys get a job if people that come to the program. And you don't leave until you are employed because our goal is to get you out there and be able to live independently, not have to depend on anyone, to be able to make a living wage in San Francisco. So
how long has it existed in Huntersville?
In Treasure Island, 99, right?
Since 1999.
Yeah, my brother, one of my older brothers, he was in the program for 60 years.
1964.
That's great.
Yeah, it helped him get started. And I think he took up welding. He became employed with Drum Motors in Detroit. So,
There's 126 centers throughout the United States.
and one of my former neighbors got started in Rockport too. And he had a very successful computer career.
We have it there.
Yeah.
A plus computer repair.
What if
Yes,
you
sir?
have, what if you have a criminal history? Is that impairment?
Criminal history. Well, you gotta have, oh my goodness.
Want me to use one for
Yeah, no criminal history.
No, you can have a criminal history.
On
The crim-
corporation only.
No, it's a case-by-case basis. The only requirement that we have is you cannot be on formal probation when you're applying the job for, because they can't let you out of the training gate and meet with a probation
What about
officer.
felonies?
Case-by-case basis. Again, they go through a review team. As long as you're not on active formal probation and you have a face-to-face, and usually if people are on formal probation, the probation officers will modify the probation to make them eligible, because they believe it's a better alternative than being, on formal probation.
Could Brothers for Change, we use, since Eric said we'll be working out of here, could we use you as a direct referral source?
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
You guys can
absolutely. We
refer
give
your
cards out, direct numbers. Any guys you have to send us, any presentations you want. It's our job to go out and help people that want to better themselves and come to a program like this.
To let them know that we do have a program that's gonna help them out. Because a lot of the young adults don't know there's a service out there that can help them. Especially the ones that are they're trying to further education and they're not doing it in a regular public school system. This program is made for that also. So you can come here with or without a high school diploma.
Just kind of maybe off the record, is there a program for like young felons to get themselves back together and get into the work environment and go to school? Do you guys help with that kind of thing? Because I know there are a lot of youth that have 1 and 2 strikes, and you go to the public.
Yeah, I get a lot of youth that come in and they've been out of like CYA for like 3 days, and the parole officer tells them to come to us. And usually the parole officer will know that they're not going to be eligible, but it's getting them used to rejection, which I'm not fond of that practice. But we have to give 3 referrals, and a great referral source is the One Stops, like 3120 Mission One Stop. For offenders, they usually, the advice that they'll give them is apply for part-time work that's on odd hours, because there's not a lot of competition for those jobs. And once you're employed, you're more employable. So if you have a job, other jobs look at that, and that, especially if you have a long criminal history, that there's something that someone saw in you, so you're more employable when you're working. So shoot for, again, low-paying jobs that are on odd hours, because there's not a lot of competition. And it's just because any money coming in is better than no money. And once you're employed, you're more employable.
Any more questions?
You guys leave us some contact information?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we have all this stuff, and we'll leave out all our business cards and all this stuff for you guys. And San Francisco Conservation Corps is a program I'm a huge fan of. So, they're another great program.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, I think the conservation course, I don't know where he went with that, he might have took off. But if I can do this, a brother in the back, Michael, right here, Michael Simmons, developing company, sponsored this conference, so if we just give the brother a hand and just thank him, and I guess you can tell a little bit about what he does, this development program.
I'm Michael Simmons. I have a small development corporation. It's a property development. I build mostly affordable housing, some for-profit housing, but I focused mostly on affordable housing. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I grew up on the East Coast, a small community, much like this, small African-American community, and went to college. College was a big thing in my family. My mother, on oddly enough, was one of the first African-American women to receive a PhD from Brown. So she grew up poor, worked her way up, got into assisted. Sorry? Brown University. So, I'm sorry? And my father went to Hampton. So even though my grandparents didn't go to college, college was a huge deal in my family, and everything was sacrificed so that the kids would go to college. And I have a brother, and we were able to go to college. When I came out, I worked for a big company. I worked for Chase Manhattan Bank, which is seems to be getting bigger and bigger in a training program. I faced kind of the same issues of being kind of the only black guy working in the program, and decided I wanted to go back and get a master's degree, and I was able to go to Berkeley. I had to pay for it myself, and so I was really glad that it was California. It's getting a little more expensive now, and then from there I started working in affordable housing. I was always interested in real estate. The interesting thing I think about real estate, or what I do, is that it really involves a little bit of everything, and I think that's really important to kind of know as much as you can, and to be able to do as many jobs as you can, because I kind of laugh, and I sort of tell my own friends and my own son this, that when I was growing up, we didn't have VCRs. If you wanted to watch a program on TV, you had to watch it right then. We didn't have fax machines when we used to do carbon copies, and technology has changed so much, and the world is changing so much, that I think it's really important to be aware of whatever you're doing, to kind of look ahead at where things are going, because you really have to be able to change and not get left behind. I started working for a private real estate developer, and then I sort of moved into the affordable housing range. I was very interested in doing kind of community-based work. And so throughout that time, I've been working for about 20 years, I've been able to build a lot of housing throughout San Francisco, for housing for homeless families, housing for homeless individuals. I built Cannon Kip down in South Market, which was the first permanent housing for homeless people with social services to get people off the street. And I'm sorry? And 8th and Eternal. So now there have been several other projects built in. Right now I'm currently working on a project around the block on Church Street, which is housing for first-time home buyers in the city. I've done a number of those projects out in Bayview, but it's getting very competitive now. Before, when we built them, it was hard to actually get people to live in them. And now, I think on Michael Johnson's recent project, there were 800 applications for 12 spots. So it's getting very, very difficult to affordable for first-time home buyers. And we're talking about housing that is anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 for 1, 2s, and 3 bedrooms in a city where the average home is about $800,000. So there are those programs that are happening. It's very important to be ahead of the game and prepare yourself for it.
So you're affiliated with the city and county, or?
I'm not. I have a small company that I started, and we basically do two things. We build our own housing. First-time home buyers usually working on city projects. And the other thing we do is we consult with nonprofits. I work with a number of churches, mostly, to build churches and social service organizations to build projects.
Along with what we're doing here, I work with a group of people over in the FILLMORE with some of the stuff that we're doing, and we got a job development thing inside of the Brothers for Change. And we're looking for all types of jobs, mowing grass. I used to work at Whitefront back when you was probably a youngster. And one of the things that they didn't mention back during the years of Waco and this community development, they didn't push the positive stuff. They pushed the Black Panthers and radicalism and all that. But they did not push the artists and the planners and the people in professional careers. And my question directed in this way, if we could work with Brothers for Change, and we can get some of these jobs in which he'll be doing through here, we want to use this as a job source to do screening and stuff. And I was wondering in some way, as you connected with Eris and us, that you can help us get some of these people jobs if you need help of some kind.
Sure.
I sure appreciate it.
Are there any questions or?
You say you've been doing this 20 years?
About 20 years?
You don't look like you did.
He
I
looks
walk
young.
every day. I do my 45 minutes.
He looks like a baby.
What are some of your future projects you see here in San Francisco as far as, is there a cap on the availability that you'd be able to provide as a building?
Of projects?
Yes.
So for a long time, I ran an agency called San Francisco Housing Development Corp. I don't know if anyone's, they used to do housing in the Western, they've been doing a lot of housing in the Bayview. I ran that for a number of years, and then I started my own firm, so it's very small. There were just really a few of us. What I've been trying to really focus on, just as a kind of a business practice, is I'm trying to focus on projects that are very difficult and projects that are needed in our community, projects that kind of the bridge housing, sort of the larger affordable housing developers in the city won't touch. So one of the things I'm trying to work with Providence Church out in the Bayview, they have a shelter. They have a 200-person shelter in the church, and we're trying to kind of take that and build some permanent housing for the homeless, to sort of move them from the shelter to permanent housing in the Bayview. We're very interested in doing something in the Bayview so that people from the Bayview who are homeless and living in the Bayview can stay in the Bayview, and we're not moving them to other places in the city or out of the city. So that one of the things I'm working on now is to try to do sort of 100 units of permanent housing with social services to move people from homelessness into permanent housing in the Bayview. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm working on.
You're not looking at using that as a point, right?
The shipyard? No. We're trying to do something on 3rd Street, but we have the transportation.
My question to you, right? I want to last some time. Your question is more so I want to applaud you and tell you you're doing good work. Because I know there is a lot of politics and a lot of different things that we bump into, and for you to be having, I guess it's just a small, program or small thing that, for me, just be looking at you outside in, I want to salute you and say that keep up the good work. And, basically, I know in West Oakland has something similar to what you're doing, and it is definitely needed here in San Francisco because you can see all the different housing places of black, oriented communities are being stripped apart, being taken, moving to Fairfield, Antioch, across wherever you have it, and it's ridiculous because when we first came, we migrated here in the Bay, San Francisco mainly, I would say that with, you get the East Coast, you took on a big road coming to the Bay doing that, and a lot of people haven't really stepped up that are from here or, being an origin of it. I just want to commend you and tell you doing a good job. Thank you.
The other thing I just want to mention over and over again, because I struggle with this even on sort of my own project that I'm doing, is that, whereas years ago, like for instance, I was talking about the project in the Bayview where it was really hard to get people in, it's extremely competitive now. Yeah. And so, I think that I was trying to do a survey of just sort of our own affordable housing projects in the Western Addition, that, I think that it's something almost like half the people now are Russians who live in these and so, even though all this affordable housing is being built, and it's being built in our community, much like, Providence is finishing a senior project that they've been working on for 10 years, majority of people will probably be Asian people living in that, because, they're all moving to the Bayview. So it's really important to realize that, even though we're working very hard in our community to make things happen, that there's a lot of competition now for the services and the dollars that are coming in. And it's really important for us to sort of be aware of that and to kind of be in the forefront and sort of demanding our benefits and our rights and so forth, and to prepare ourselves so that we're not kind of left out in the cold.
I think another problem too is not just for one to be able to afford the housing, is to keep our community in the housing. We see a lot of foreclosures, what's going on everything now. So like in the programs that you're running, are you connected with another program that help people able to stay in their house financially wise? You know what I'm talking?
Sure. Well, there are a number of programs. I'm building it, and I'm working. And my focus is really on building it, and then trying to market it and make sure people in the community are able to get into the housing.
Right.
But there are a number of programs. There's the Dearman family has a program that in this community that they do that, where it's kind of ongoing counseling about trying to stay in your housing and prepare yourself financially, and also. To just kind of make the right decisions as you go in, to making sure you're not going in with one of these mortgages that it looks good today, and then in 6 months it's doubled, and then you're really in trouble.
Balloon payments, all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like born and raised here, and I'm trying to touch on 2 points. I'm noticing now that there are lots of Russians and Asians coming in, where back when I was growing up, you wouldn't see nobody but black people here. When you first started talking, you mentioned something about your project on Turk Street. Where's this Turk and what?
So what I'm working on, I just won this commission earlier this year, is there's a muni substation which is at the corner of Turk and FILLMORE. There's a lot right behind that, between Webster and FILLMORE on Turk, kind of on the south side of the street. And so what we're doing is 32 units for first-time home buyers, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom.
How can I sign up? What do I have to do?
Well, I will leave some cards, and if you email me, I will put you on a list, because we haven't started our marketing yet, because there's actually, the CAC has been the CAC here in the community has been putting pressure on the city to make some changes in how we market these projects, and so I'll start the marketing next year as soon as we make some changes, but it won't be done until 2010, I think it'll be done. We're just starting now.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I guess, would I still be considered a first-time home buyer if I did purchase a home, but I had to split the proceeds with my ex-wife? And so, I worked but we kind of like together on this home buying thing. Sure. We only had the house a little over a year. I didn't pay for it.
How long? Yeah.
Oh, no, this was like 2 years ago.
It's 3 years. So you have to have you haven't owned a house for 3 years. So by for instance, on this project, won't be done until 2010. So you're 3 years from now. It's 3 years.
And the credit scores have went up, didn't they? Credit scores as far as purchasing homes no, the credit, the minimum that they want. No, my credit score is up. Okay. But what I'm saying, the requirements, what I was getting at, they were accepting like 660 or 6. Now it's like 700. Is it?
It's really. Yeah, you can get it. Okay.
What are some of the main things that have helped you develop your
That's a really good question. What are the main things that help you develop my business?
hard work?
Growth.
I guess there are a number of things. There is kind of the day-to-day, hard work, but and dedication. But it's
Like, do you have a group? Are you just alone?
I have associates that I put together for it, but I started it, on my own. I had, once I left San Francisco Housing Development Corp, it was, basically it's a niche that I found that wasn't being serviced, and that's really, that's really important. And then from there, I've sort of developed it as it went along. There wasn't a lot of work being done in different communities. I was very interested in working in these communities in Western Addition. Most of my work is in the Western Addition and the Davie Hunters Point neighborhood. And, I knew there wasn't work being done in churches and so forth. So it was kind of a niche that I found. I think it's very important that, there's a whole, my grandmother used to say, stick to your knitting. I think that it's really important that once you develop a skill or a career or something, that you're able to sort of look at that and try to do it better or different, or find someone who's not doing it where there's a need and try to fill it.
Do you see it like really making that difference to where housing is affordable and African Americans are actually able to prosper from your business? Or do you see yourself
It's
just-
really, I'm following kind of a federal policy, so it's not something that I'm not able to, on my own in my business, make housing affordable. I mean, things kind of cost what they cost, so, but I'm trying to bring programs to our community. The trouble that I'm having now is kind of what I was saying before, is that there are a lot of people who are moving into our communities, and they're really taking advantage of the housing that we're working really hard to build. So I think it's important to, what I've been trying to do is really start early to outreach to the community, to our community, to say, this is coming down the line, you need to be ready, and to get in, and so to make sure that we're kind of standing at the front of the line.
But you can't discriminate, so that's.
But I can't discriminate, but I can certainly make sure that our people are.
We know that discrimination, that's the main thing. We know that discrimination, if we can't discriminate, that's what makes me come angry, in my own bones that, exactly, it's double standard that you doing your job, but you can't discriminate, but plainly and obviously there's discrimination out here in San Francisco or just the Bay Area.
Look at you have Chinatown. You have a town within our town, and you can't go to Chinatown and buy homes and rent. They don't want to have you in their town renting apartments and buying homes. We gotta have our own. Fillmore was rich back in my grandfather and my uncles. They tell me about how rich Fillmore was with black businesses and companies. And not saying that we're not one to really sit up and discriminate against those people.
We can be infiltrated.
That might be what one of the problems was, because we wouldn't stop them.
You gotta look beyond the gentrification. Before blacks came into Fillmore, they were Japanese. They got turned into concentration camps. That's when the blacks started coming into Fillmore. So you gotta look further back. You can't just feel like you're a victim all the time. You gotta do like this brother. You gotta create opportunity for yourself. You have to seize it. We can't always be victims.
You also have to support people. You have to go to you have to go to the barber, you have to go to the store. You can't go to Walmart and buy everything because it's a little cheaper. I mean, you got to go to the black bookstore. You got to buy the books. You got to, because if you're not doing that, then those businesses are failing, and you're going to Borders and getting all your, go and patronize.
That's what I'm talking about. And
help people out.
Because see, over in Oakland also, some of the Latino brothers, some of the Latino folks have opened their own supermarket the size of Lucky's and Safeway. You understand? Where's ours?
Where's the cadre of people that's coming together? Right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. I'm not knocking what you're saying. I'm just saying somewhere we missed the whole picture, man.
It's about coming together.
That's what this is.
It's about coming together.
We come to a meeting to talk about having another meeting.
No, we are not. No, brother, don't take it off a track. We talking about building. We out here with grassroots. What I want to ask you, what I'd like to ask you is, employment is so important. And we do jobs. Areas go out and do jobs. I do jobs and stuff. We got people to paint. We got people to clean up. I bought a truck about 6 months ago, and I had it back there where you talking about putting that place by the thing. And they got in there sleeping in there, messed it up. But we need a truck, and we need some other stuff. So after we get the truck and get the jobs going, we want to do other investment. We talking about doing our own little bakery in the neighborhood. We talking about trying to get houses, get the people off the streets, same thing. So I want to make sure that you can take with Aris and help us. We try and get the word out that we need a pickup truck real bad so we can hustle these jobs.
shining example of what we all need. You know, we need to check us from the neck up. You know, it really, only thing that's stopping us from doing anything is that part of us right between our two ears. That's the only thing that's stopping us. And once we can reorder that and renew that and focus in the right way, we can do anything. You know, besides play basketball, baseball, football, and rap, we can do anything. He's a shining example. We can do anything. And if we came together as a community, I mean, the Bayview Hunters Point is a good example. The community is split because a few of us are getting paid, okay? And we fight, they fight, and trying to make sure they get paid. But at the same time, there's people up there suffering. Kids and grown-ups are up there suffering, man. This one lady said she wakes up in the morning with grit in her mouth from the dust up there. You know, it's so bad. But we got people, upstanding people in the community that said, we don't give a hoot. We want to make some money. You see what I'm saying? We got to come together. If we come together, we can have this brother to do all the construction that Bernard's supposed to be doing. You see, if we come together, you see what I'm saying? And then we can empower him. He can become a Lenore one day, you know, with our help. But until we come together, we ain't gonna change nothing. You know, we ain't gonna.
How do we come together though? What do we do to come together? Because like I look at it.
Whether we order that ballot.
Yeah, I know that, but what I'm saying is that like we've been sitting on the third quarter lead since Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all these other great leaders that came in and did all the civil rights marching and stuff, and it's all kind of like the black infant mortality rate. We so low on the chart to it's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? We not producing. And then we got the brothers downtown sitting up there smoking crack. It's all, you know, it's a struggle. But where are the people, you know, like this thing in the news, the Gina 6. Look at the masses of people who came out for that. It should be people, we should be out there every day until we can get out there every day and march and make an impact. We just banging our hands against the wall because there's some brothers that don't even live in the community that's coming here raping and robbing the community, taking the money out and getting up. You know, I know a cat that, you know, took a bunch of money and moved to Texas, you know what I'm saying? And he had a positive program helping the youth and stuff, you know what I'm saying? The kids and all that. And then he get the money, then he hightailed it out of here, you know what I'm saying? With millions of dollars. These ministers, the 7 Faith and Tabernacle, you know what I'm saying? All 7 of those ministers, you know what I'm saying? They got a lot of money, but they're not saying nothing about it. And all we could do is speculate. And they were supposed to be, from what I understood from a friend of mine called me from Texas, and he told me, he says, you know, go over there and see Calvin Jones because they got all the faith-based money and stuff like that. They told me they don't know nothing about it. What faith-based money that the president supposed to have gave up or whatever. Okay, but yet they got this big, the Reverend Walker got this big old deal going on. Boy got half of this place sold up. You know what I'm saying? But what about the brother like Harrison? Brother like me, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We can't, you know, like the brother was saying about the crumbs, there's a whole cake out there. You know what I'm saying? But they keep throwing the little crumbs and having us fight. They'll tell him something secret over here, and then a little something secret over here. You know, it was like my granddad told me, like they had all this property, and the white man came by, and he's telling one guy, you know, you 50 cents for so many acres and this and that. Then he was, you know, and it's a separate thing. We're so separate until, and we can't come together and get out there and make an impact. You know, we can be strong in numbers, but when we come separate like this, there's just so much animosity to one another.
You talking about yesterday, and the reason I'm in this straight out is because I believe in Eris. When Eris speaks, he speaks from the heart. Now I was here, like I said, when the Waco was built. One of the oldest community organizations in the history of America during the revolution of the 60s. And one of the biggest things I faced was that infighting. But we're not infighting. We're brothers for change. And we got our money out there, we got our time, and we got our efforts out there. And if it only take 10 of us like it did the disciples, we out there doing it. And that's what Aris and Majee and us are standing for. We want some people to stand with us. We're doing it. We're not talking. I'm from St. Louis. I come with St. Louis pride. I come up with a town of fighting. We'll fight it.
Where's the sign-up list to stand with you so when we can get out and...
Well, Aris is coordinating. We putting all the satellites, we putting all the people together, we getting everything in line, we getting our bookkeeping set up, and we'll give you reports. Everybody that's aligned with us, we'll give you some kind of fiscal report, and we'll keep you informed and set you up as satellites. We want to spread this not only here, well, we want this to go all over the world. I'm a Baha'i, and that means change. We're talking about style. We're not talking about the N-word and buying into old programs. Yeah. We're talking about change. That's what Dizzy Gillespie stood for in the music world. That's what the arts stand for. And that's what we stand for now. We're brothers for change. And if you're ready for change, stand with us.
I think we're pretty much to reiterate what Tom Jones was just saying right there. Basically, they don't take no flyers or no pamphlets or no lists to find out who's gonna be who. It's about assorting branches. And I was talking about areas because we were sitting down at the Scare Stick program, the Brown Mortuary, which Larry Gray has down there. And we were speaking to Chaplain, what's his name? David Chaplain, one of the churches. Yeah. I forget his name, can't speak on him. But Aries brought up a complaint, said there's we could bridge the gap between generations. You know, as far as getting branches, like we have legislative branches, we have traditional branches. You know, we have people that's in, religious branches. If we can make our own branches in our own, as black people, as far as like different age groups in the race of being African Americans, like God said, Africans in America, we could be better off. And it's not gonna take no flyers. I'm doing this and you doing that. It's about like reiterating Tom Jones said, stepping up. You know what I mean? Coming to this game, we know it's a ball game. If you got to consider it to be a football game, and we got 12 branches, 12 different players on the field. You know what I'm saying? Got this one player that's going to do this one role, and that's going to be considered to be one branch. Then we're going to go on down the line, the whole defensive line, going all the way to the other side. So it's pretty much you get them branches set up. It's going to take the politicians who work in the city and county. That's a branch. Black people that's doing that. The branches from the streets, people that know the streets. The rappers and the bosses and whatnot. Those brothers who putting out different kind of music. That's a branch. Then we have people that's trying to organize it, which we could be the church house because that's those ones that have the most funding. If you look at it, the church has got the funding. So that's a branch. And then we go on to all down the line, non-profit organizations and whatnot. Those are all different branches. If we can get that all on one accord, then we'll be set. But by talking about it and trying to get flyers out and sign up here and sign up there, that's going to slow the process down. It's really about setting up some branches and getting it where we can just be like, okay, the city and county, black folk is going to step up and not stop being fearful, and, you know what I mean, and come out and say what we got to say, and we got our group. We're not discriminating. We're not trying to be, be cut off on a term where we're going to be, set aside from, Gavin Newsom, because we're still working with him. I'm out working with Willie Brown myself, as a youth ambassador in the mayor. But the same thing is, it's these branches we need. I've been in the justice system where I went to jail, but I'm now fortunate to be here, and try to step up and work with Tom Jones and Aris as far as the different groups. But if we can get this where we can be on one accord, we would be set up, properly. But right now, everybody want to get the shine and want to get the glory. When it's all about all of us getting the shine and getting the glory. And that's what you're saying, basically. And that's why I can't stop commending you and saying thank you, because pretty much for 20 years you went through your trials and tribulations, and for you to be standing up there and helping Aris as well as helping other people trying to get housing. The number one problem in San Francisco is housing, fair housing. That's our community, man. So pretty much if we could just get these branches set up and stop talking about it and being about it, I don't know. That's why I understand what you're saying, Larry Gray. Because, you know, you're trying to find out where we gotta go to get it done. And back to Tom Jones and Harris Naturally, we here. You know what I'm saying? Let's start right here. So, I mean, ain't going no sign-in sheets. If it's gonna be documented or we're gonna do the marches, what? Let's figure out what it's gonna be, brothers, and let's get it done. Let's get active.
Our money to get. I'm Daniel, and I'm a member of Brothers for Change.
I just want to know if anybody got any more questions for him, or is this we're finna go into a discussion so he don't stay?
All right.
Yeah, young man.
Just thanks a lot. Yeah, and I just want to say, you know, with the humble beginning of Brothers for Change, from what I can see, you know, Mike. No, yeah.
Yeah, I was down to our go-to man in the development.
Thank you. Yeah, but I think, you know, basically, if you look at the world, right, listen up, there's 192 nations. 192 nations. Some would say, but that's a beautiful thing. You have all these nations. However, it's a sign of division. You look at the NBA, I remember, I'm a little older too now, I can say this, the NBA, when they merged with the ABA. It was only something like 16 teams when I was a big fan and when we was hollering Dr. J back in the late 70s, early 80s. But now if you look at the NBA, it done flourished with all these teams and new franchise coming in. My point is division. Division only can lead to unity. So we don't have to be upset, angry at where we at today. What we got to look at is, from where we leave here, is commitment. Now I would think if this is Brothers for Change and Sisters for Change, where we at right now is the best place we can possibly be. Because an alliance has got to form sooner or later. It doesn't mean that an individual got to give up his own identity. Because San Francisco has more nonprofits than any other city in the United States. Showing you that sometime when you leave meetings like this, people say, man, you know what? The hell with you, man, I'm about to go start my own little thing. So they may go start another nonprofit.
Right.
And then they have a meeting, then somebody in that meeting start another nonprofit. And next thing you know, you got all these nonprofits, but nobody still ain't went to the corner and hollered at the little brother and the little sister. So I think, though, in this time that we in, and of course, you got to commend the brother who comes from the East Coast, went to school about development, and come here and help develop. But I hear what the other brother was saying about you have people here that have traits, that have talent, that have skills that's not being utilized. Because it's a shame for someone to be here all their life and don't have the connection that maybe Edgar Boyd had, or the Tabernacle developers may have. But we got to come to grip with, and I think this is real, that we need our own nation as black people. We need to form our own government. We need to form from the base all the way up. We need to start that dialogue. Because Marcus Garvey, what did he say? He had a convention and everybody came representing, but at the same time they had a big vision on glory of bringing us back to Africa or forming Africa right here. And that's where we at with it. It doesn't make sense to me for like, you know, in San Francisco, you're looking at a city right now where you have all these problems with developers, the Lenore Corporation out there in the Point was splitting us up. Hunters Point, that could be the new Black Town. That could be our Chinatown.
You know what? That's what you heard.
And we got to start that dialogue, because you know the conversation is going to lead to manifesting the reality. But to keep starting all these different businesses and nonprofits is going to bring us right back to where we at today, where it's going to seem like there's nothing being produced. So I think that's somewhat the conversation that, you know, needs to start here. Let's have an alliance. Don't mean to give up your own organization, but I want to be able to work with United for Our Fathers Coalition. But I mean officially, on paper. where we have the bylaws, where we have the rules, the regulations, where we have everything that makes sure that our organizations don't conflict with each other. Because I'm Daniel Landry, but I'm also Daniel X, a member of the Nation of Islam. But I'm also a member of Brothers for Change. I know how to be flexible, but until Brothers for Change and the Nation of Islam have an MOU, then we just that much weaker. And that's something that I can say straight up right now, as a brother who's been helping Ayers, and Ayers been helping me for years. We got to speed it up. We got to have ways that our organizations can all work together, where a person don't feel like I'm giving up my identity, but we're working for a bigger cause. And that's why you got, I mean, you may have San Francisco, California, you may have Santa Rita, California, but they all in California. And you know white folks don't work together no matter what. They agree on one thing, and that's the United States of America.
Oh, yeah. They agree to disagree.
So that's what I look at it. It's a nation.
Downtown, they decide on what's going to happen in the communities without us being there. Just like when they ran that railroad through the train, the T train to 3rd Street. They decided that up at the Commonwealth Club. You know, when they decided to zone all the communities because they say the kids were violent or whatever. That's just a setup just to kick the parents and, you know, out of the communities so that they can take over the communities. And that's, you know, basically what's going on. They trying to build a waterfront and all that stuff. They don't want no more blacks around there. They trying to make it like Lower Manhattan. And it's you know, it's very clear that you can see that they building all this stuff and
from
you know, nobody know nothing before you know it. It's there, and we not invited. We're not gonna be invited because we don't know nothing. Because we're not gathering enough intelligence to go down there to do something about what's going on, because we don't know what's going on. They all closed up in the closet, you know, deciding our fate. When we like in the 60s when it was going down like that, when we used to go down to City Hall, kick in the door, tons of brothers go down there, you know what I'm saying, and demand some respect. You know what I'm saying? Until we can demand some respect, and we just keep sitting on this 3rd quarter lead, the 4th quarter gonna come. The 4th quarter gonna come, and we, you know, we gonna see what happens. See, but it's gonna be too late. We can't argue after the fact. You know what I'm saying? So we said, you know, I don't know. I don't mind coming to meetings, or you know, we started a little thing over there, and then it ended with the young lady. You know, I don't know. Just like you said, until we can put it in writing and say, hey, you know, who's the leaders and who want to step up? How can we make this happen? You know what I'm saying? Where we gonna go? Or, you know, who's gonna make the signs? And who's gonna do whatever? I don't know.
I'm gonna cut you off. We gotta stop saying who and what. It's us. You know what I mean? It's who we are. Who? You know what I mean? We are what?
We ain't who till we put it in right. Like
let me say this.
Bush got in office. We down there voting. We're our ballots. I was in writing.
Another thing, stop watching BET all the time and watch the Access Television. They'll show you, they got meetings that they talk about what's going on in the community. You might see one black person sitting up there. You understand what I'm saying? But if you watch and see what they developed, I watched what they was doing with this West Oakland thing. You remember when the Wayans was supposed to have their hands in on that stuff over there? Man, that was shoved to the side. Somehow they just let it go, and now they're talking about putting a waterfront with industrial park down there, when there's all these people that need a place to live. You understand what I'm saying? Treasure Island could have housed many of people, and you could have cultivated, you know, did whatever you need. You could set up shops and everything, learning tools for everyone. That's not what we're doing. And we got to somehow we got to move it to the next level. 10 men can carry a mighty blow, but because 10, you know 10, he know 10. Somehow we got to start getting like a large meeting of folks. That's what it is. We need people that's in top places to come in and listen to what we got to say and how we want to make moves.
And not really meeting inside the walls.
And don't be afraid that it might not happen in your time.
Be down in the park.
I'm 48, brother.
Well, let me say this. This is the thing that what Charles was saying, that we can still complain, we can say all this stuff, but along with the MOU, do you got a business plan? We need you to get a business plan so you can get a business over there on that waterfront. So it's not just about them complaining about them coming in and develop.
Yes, sir.
We don't have no development plan, so we can hoop and holler all day. That's what we've been doing as black folks. We've been hooping and hollering, but we ain't took it to the next level. We ain't educating ourselves. Like he said, we ain't putting nothing in right. They trying to take Bayview right now. We knew that. They took the Fillmore 20 years ago. We already knew they had a plan for Bayview, but we didn't have no plan. So we got to start developing. That's what this whole thing is. That's what I'm saying. It's not just, we got educators here. We got financial people here that can help you get your finances together. Get your credit scores up. We got young brothers right here that's teaching children education right now. We got a counselor right here, Robert Clark, man. We sent a brother to his office the other day, and the brother got a class that day. So it's connections and where we need to provide each other, like you're saying, it's us. But everybody can play a part.
Yes, sir.
But we got to stop complaining.
Yeah.
I got to go to school and get my GED to move up to the next level. If I want to do something, I got to stop complaining. It's only me that's holding me back. We got to start taking a look at ourselves, and then what can we bring to the table? Like Daniel said, it's not about your program.
Yeah.
You can stay with your program, that's beautiful, but bring it to the table with something else.
Yeah.
I can take all the things that I'm doing right now, all you brothers that I know, and I could have just took that resource and said, how can I work with you? But I'm on a mission. It's not a job or a career, it's a mission. I'm gonna tell you. I'm on a mission. It's not a job or a career, it's a mission that God got me on. I sat down with a brother about an hour and a half yesterday, and that's what I want to do. I want to sit down and make these connections to where it's tell you where God leads me to go and how you gonna get involved with me. So it's about your thing and how you can bring it to the table.
There is what you're saying, what he said, and there are two approaches to this problem. One is either we have to separate, or the other we have to unify. Now I don't think, to me, the answer isn't separation. From the good book, Solomon teaches that money answers all things. We got an economic problem. And one thing that the white man, one thing he believes in, that racism is his too, and that borders hatred. But if you get control of the dollar, which we're supposed to do, and that means investment and working together. That's where his strength comes from, controlling the money. And that's where I'm at. Once we educate the people to the idea that we are working, there's a solidarity bill in there, we got the gold mines and we want to perpetuate it and expand it. It become a global thing. If we're moving into a world society now where the world is getting smaller. Read a book. It's called The Greening of America. The world is getting smaller. You got so many races joining each other and all that race thing don't mean nothing now. Where the clout is the dollar, the money power. And that's what the echelon that we've got to reach. And that's what Brothers for Change is all about. We got to learn to get control of that money. And when getting control of that money, we can live our tradition. We can stop the war. We can do those things because we got the power. And that's what I'm talking about. We need the power.
When we do this, what I want to do is, since we all are here, and I know everybody got to go now, kind of wearing off schedule, but I do want people to eat, but I want everybody to just kind of sit back for a minute, and everybody can come up here and just say what they do real quick, and, get everybody going. And then, at the end, we can have our brothers perform for us, and we can lead out. Is that all right? Real quick, can we do that? Yeah. Okay. Anybody want to step up to the plate first? Oh, okay. Oh, Brother Al-T, my fault. This is a powerful brother here, man. I grew up under this brother.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I'm from the neighborhoods. I was born in the Presidio Army base, and I've been living in Montecito KO since 1971. What's going on is like they're trying to take everything from us. They're trying to oppress us. And, I'm not saying they. It's just that, to make a long story short, from what Chester was just telling me, and I didn't talk to Focus and Benzo yet about some meeting over there where we live, man. They're trying to take our property right from us. That's something totally different. But I'm like, I used to be a bad guy. I drunk up Milwaukee, smoked up Peru, I did all that stuff. After my mind got clear, I went off and got me a degree in computer science, my AA first one in '99. I just got my bachelor's degree in computer science in February from DeVry University. Basically, I'm corporate, so I get jobs at Nokia, Clorox, Kaiser, all them type of places. The first thing they notice is that I'm out of place. I'm a black man, a brother that got the knowledge in my head to do networking on all levels, servers for the whole world, computers, anything to do with networking is okay. So what I'm trying to say is that nothing is stopping us from going out to get what we have to do. But once they realize that we are so-called out of bounds or not in our so-called place, it's interesting. Because like, for instance, tomorrow, Monday, I have an interview with eBay. It's just for a 6-month contract. It's cool, but I just had a contract with Nokia. I was the only brother on the whole floor besides security guards. Once they found out that I was the network administrator doing the service for North America, China, and Europe, they were like, oh, like, hell no, we can't have this. So next thing I know, they come up with an excuse telling me that somebody that worked with the company 3-4 years ago is bad and they're lucky we want them to have their job back. I was like, wow, this was a year contract. We're so sorry. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'll get another job. Because once you get this in your head, they can't take it from you. Any amount of education you get, they can never take it from you. They can take your house, they can take your car, they can even take your clothes, they can take your freedom, but they can't take your education. So all I'm saying is that always try to strive for improvement, like what Benzo talking about and all that type of stuff to get our own little thing. That's going to be possible, but we are still in their world. And no matter what, we're going to have to deal with that. That's why, like I tell you, when I go out into this corporate world that I deal with, it's like they smile in your face, but right off the top, they're trying to figure on a way to get you up out of here. So, like you mentioned also, Benzo, these nonprofits, it's cool. I'm working for a couple of nonprofits right now. Their issue is grant writers or be able to fund their nonprofits. They got to get the money going. You get you a good grant writer, your money will keep coming in. We have a grant writer that just got me some little gig where I'm teaching for PG&E through a grant from PG&E. So if you guys getting on the grant writer process, even for property grant writer, there's so much money out there, it's not funny for that. You get you a good grant writer. They might turn you down once, they might turn you down twice, but you will eventually get it as long as your package is right. So I'm teaching 2 classes, 15 people each, basic math stuff on how to get a job through PG&E. And we're trying to hire something here for Hutch, but they wasn't paying right. I can't work for that type of money that they're trying to save because I got $62,000 in bills just for me going to go get my degrees, even though I'm still paying them off too. But the thing that's most important that I'm trying to iterate here, that's why Eris asked me to come down here, it's not, I just don't know how to phase this though. It's not where you come from, but always have where you come from in your head, but you can always go out there and do whatever you have to do. Each day we wake up, we got the choice to either go to the liquor store, to go get drunk, hanging out there by, what's that? Smitty's, not Smitty's, that's old. Charlie's, that's my favorite, and Muhammad's. They all know me. You can either get out in the morning to go do that, or you can get up in the morning to go look for a job, or go to school, or get some type of knowledge, or you can just lay around and watch TV all day. So this is like the only country in the world where January 1st, I get here, the next January 1st, I can be a millionaire by my choices. I can win the lotto, I can invent something, I can go to school to get a degree, or you could do all type of things, and now one next year, you could be a millionaire on your choices. So we all have choices on what to do each day. The only time you don't have a choice is if you're incarcerated, or you are incapacitated, or you can't do nothing. My only thing is like, this is a long battle. I see it every day. Every time I go on an interview or anything like that, my resume speaks for itself. I turn down jobs before I take a job because I can do that. It's to the point now, I'm going to branch out and do my own thing, like we was talking about earlier. I'm not going to be a nonprofit. I'm just going to deal with my own clients. I have enough clients to just live off of my own customers and stuff like that because I'm tired of hustling for a job. I've always been a hustler. Even when I was back in the day, Benzo wasn't a good hustler. I was always trying to hustle what I needed. I had to get it. But now it's about what I hustle for now. I'm hustling for the corporate pockets, the money that way to pay my bills so that I can live all legally. It's all about the legal things. Because some things are illegal. We all know about that. Basically, that's just all I really have to say because it's out there for us to do it. It's the path you choose to take to get it. That's all. And I ain't famous yet. I'm still on my path because I'm still going to school. I'm going to go next year start for my Master's in Business Administration with emphasis assist in technology, and at the same time, I'm going for real estate to take my real estate examination to be a sales agent to sell houses. And I might also get the appraiser or the broker part under that because I already have a bachelor's degree. That means after at least 1 year selling houses, I can be a broker just because I have a bachelor's degree. That means I don't even have to sell a house, but anybody have to sell a house through me, and I'll get 6% just for doing nothing. So that's my other thing that I'm gonna just keep doing, God willing, and that's all. So that's all I got to say.
So the strong warrior,
My name is Ike Mbachu. I'm originally from Chicago, south side of Chicago. I was born in Southside. I lived in Nigeria for about 12 years. Came back to Chicago again, lived for another 15 years. I came out here in the Bay Area 6 months ago. I have a master's in public health. And basically, all through my whole time I was in Chicago, my job was basically working in the African American community. In the west side of Chicago, I know y'all heard about the west side of Chicago, how notorious that place is for the young kids. I've done jobs with conflict resolution, teach them how to talk out their problems in the schools. I've also done some jobs with some HIV coordination out there for prevention, needle exchange programs for all the heroin addicts we have up there. I was getting into a lot of problems out there. I finally moved out to the Bay Area for a fresh start 6 months ago. And right now I'm working for the Hospital Council for the African American Health Disparities Project. Basically, what they have me doing is working with African Americans 35 and up for prostate health. Y'all have already heard about that. Y'all know what's going on with that. It's the highest rate of cancer for all black men out here. And I'm 27 years old. 27. I know 3 people that died from it. My dad has it. And I know about 7 other people that have it. So basically what I'm saying is there's a grant out there for about $1 million for any African American men in San Francisco. God forbid if something happens and you do have it, they can treat it. Basically my job is to bring up a platform or a movement where we can actually get awareness about this stuff and we can talk about it open because it's something that, we know it's out there, but ain't nobody really talking about it. You know what I'm saying? It's a taboo. Oh, my prostate. Even this, I'm actually doing a health fair right now. I just stopped over here because Eris called me about last week, told me to come out here and talk to y'all. So I really want to just, introduce myself to y'all, to this community, because Chicago, we have a large black population. I came out here, I couldn't see anybody. I'd walk around for 2 weeks, I couldn't see a sister walking down the street, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that we have a pocket, and it's only about 3 places, if I'm right, the black folks. Western Addition, Babies on Point, FILLMORE, right?
Yeah.
In the whole city.
So what's that?
Huh?
What are you saying? What are you
What I'm saying is that right, that we have these pockets that in Chicago it's about it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Chicago is much different.
Right. So what I'm saying is because we have these communities here, it's not hard to establish communication.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm saying.
But if you know the connection, that's what
if you know the connection, it's what?
And we all separate.
6%? I'm not sure.
Like Leroy, the Cadillac Hotel, how the thing started, the health sources. We work with the Haight-Ashbury Switchboard. And I got cancer. I'm working with the cancer program at General Hospital.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know it. So you work in hepatitis C.
Right.
30% of the blacks out here in the drug world dying with hepatitis C. So how do we get them? So we trying to set up and we're working in the program that we care.
Right.
That's what this is all about.
Right.
Is health and prevention.
Right. Because no matter what, we can talk about housing, we can talk about money, being alive. You ain't gonna be living in it, and you ain't gonna have it. So basically, everybody got to take a responsibility, not for yourself, not only for yourself, but you know what I'm saying, for your family, for your children. Because if you ain't alive, you ain't gonna be there to see your children.
How do we get in touch with you?
I have my cards out here.
Give it to me.
Please. My dad got diabetes. My mom has 1 breast from breast cancer.
You hear that?
It's some serious, I don't want to say some serious stuff. It's really, really serious. And the thing about it is that it's out there. This funding's up the out there, and we're not using it. We're not using it, and we're dying. We're dying, we're dying, we're dying, we're dying, we're dying, we're dying. And I've seen it, you know, because the San Francisco community here, you know, unfortunately is small. I thought, I'll be honest with you, like, coming from Chicago, I thought, you know, it's the West Coast, you know, like, you see it on TV, you think it's gonna be just like I didn't see anything. You know, it's like, where they at? Where we at? I couldn't even, I don't have no friends out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious talk. I don't have any friends out here. I couldn't even get a place out here. I had no idea what was really going on in San Francisco. I thought I was gonna come out here, you know, establish myself in the black community, you know what I'm saying, get an apartment real easy, you know what I'm saying? I was wrong. But, you know what I'm saying, it's very, very important that, you know, if anybody has any kind of platform where they want me to come in and talk and give education for prostate health or any other health-related stuff out there, or need any resource or any direction or referral or anything like that, I'm the one that coordinates that, you know what I'm saying? And it don't cost you nothing. It's free of charge, it's my job, and basically, I want to help the community that I'm living in. When I was in Chicago, I did that stuff for the young kids for you know, violence prevention, you know what I'm saying? I almost got my head blown off a couple of times, you know? Don't tell my little brother how to live his life, it's hard out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're packing guns, they're doing all that, you know what I'm saying? So basically, if I'm in a community, in any city I'm in, I think it's my responsibility, it's just not my damn job, you know what I'm saying? It's my responsibility, you know what I'm saying? So this is my skill, it's where I learned how to master's degree in this thing, you know what I'm saying? So if I don't